So now I'm going to talk about gameplay a little bit. So now Zigzag Cheese needs to get out of this game. They need to make the defense faster or something, because I don't know. That zigzag stuff needs to be taken out. I want to also see improvements to the on-ball defense. When I'm using a lockdown defender, I want to feel like I'm using a lockdown defender. Sometimes it doesn't even feel like I'm using one. High-level coaches have them affect player morale during a game and have players respond accordingly. So if you have a guy like Greg Popovich, he should keep your player morale high. If a player gets cold, then it should take long. I don't know. They should have coaches have some kind of effect on the game, because Greg Popovich during a timeout, he tells the whole team, I want to see a little more nasty. Manu Ginobili goes out and he goes off for no reason and they win the game. That those kinds of things have an impact on players. So I want to see coaches have more of an impact on the team. Next thing, they need to improve the passing clearly, because sometimes they just make stupid passes. Like, they make bounce passes when I want to do a regular pass, or sometimes the lead pass, it doesn't lead the player at all, so they have to stop moving and it cuts off the fast break. So they need to improve that. And another thing they need to do, they need to have players find an open spot when you get trapped on a double team, because it seems like they just stand around and just don't even try to get open, and it makes it a lot harder when somebody tries to trap you. In real life, when a player gets trapped, you're gonna look to get open. The other players are gonna look to get open. That's just common sense. Another thing I want to see in gameplay is visible personalities with badges. So, for example, I want to see like volume shooters call for the ball a little more. I want to see floor generals kind of like, I don't know, during a timeout say, hey, coach, they're playing man-to-man. Maybe we should run some screens or something like that. I don't know. I want to see visible personalities a little bit more, kind of like real life. I want to see some trash talk from Draymond Green or Michael Jordan. Next thing, I want them to tell the community exactly how badges affect gameplay. So they did this a little bit in 2K13. They had a Tumblr post, I think, and it told you exactly how badges affected the game. So, like, they said, I think the clutch one, I don't remember what it was called, fourth quarter something, but, so it'd say, like, free throw percentage would be bumped up by 3 in the last 40% of the game or something like that. I don't even know. So at least they told you exactly what everything did, and they don't do that anymore. They don't tell you the difference between bronze shot creator, silver shot creator, or gold shot creator, and they don't tell you exactly what it does. So they need to do that so we can get some clarity for the whole community. And speaking of badges, I want to see, this may sound kind of silly, but I want to see like a platinum or silver or signature badge for like legend players only. So when I'm using, like, I don't know. So in NBA Street Vol 2, this may sound kind of silly. They had like a crown for specific attributes if you were a legend in that particular category. So I think Michael Jordan had one for dunks, and Larry Bird had one for shots, and I don't even know. But the point is, I want to feel like legends are special, and they don't feel special. They don't feel different from any other player. I want to have that nostalgia feeling. So maybe, I don't know, you get Gary Payton the pickpocket platinum badge. You give Dr. J the platinum posterizer badge. You give Larry Bird the platinum shot creator. I don't even know. But you need to, maybe not personality badges and maybe not all of the badges, but how are you gonna have a badge called Dream Like Up and Under, and Hakeem Olajuwon is of the same category as everybody else? He's not, because he's Hakeem Olajuwon. He's Hakeem the Dream. Like, he should have a significantly, well, not significantly, he should have a little bit more of a boost to that move than everybody else. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's a bad idea, but I don't know. I think it could work. Another thing I want to see in gameplay, team captains and a captain's handshake before the game. I think that'd be a cool thing. Maybe get the C on the jersey to designate specific captains. And also, I want to see generic voice interviews as well. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but if you have a team, pretend that you simulate your association to like 2047 or something like that. Nobody's going to be doing player interviews anymore because there's not going to be any existing NBA players anymore. So I feel like generic players should be able to do interviews as well. Next thing is really important, actually. Be able to control player celebrations so players can get back on defense. That's really annoying when you're celebrating and you can't get back on defense and then your opponent scores. So that needs to be controlled. And then the next thing I want to see in gameplay, I want to see the quick substitution menu show fatigue and heat checks. And then on defense, I want to be able to switch the matchups in the quick menu as well. So the only way you could see this, you can't even see heat checks, I don't think. You can only see heat checks if you give the ball to that player or you switch to that player on defense. But I want to be able to see that in the quick menu, and I want to be able to see their fatigue level as well. Because they took this out. I don't know why they would, but they did. So, yeah, add that back in the game, 2K. And the last section I have is MyTEAM. So I thought this year they had a really good selection of legends. And I'm sure that's as many legends as they could actually get in NBA 2K. You know, they can't get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They would have probably had him in the game. Obviously, you can't just leave out Kareem Abdul-Jabbar if you have somebody like, I don't know, Sidney Moncrief. How are you going to have Sidney Moncrief but not Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? But they definitely have tried. They've had Kareem in the game. They had him in 2K12. They had Charles Barkley in 2K13 on the Dream Team. But that was because of Jay-Z, I think. And Kareem, I don't know why he was only in the game for 1 year. So they had a good selection of legends, but they need to add a 2000s historic collection next year and add a few more because, yeah, it's going to be 2015, 2016. Like, 2000s are kind of over, dude. You know, it's been like 6 years. So, yeah, we need to get those 2000s legends in there now. Also, I want to see MyTEAM exclusive legends playable on the roster. And yeah, that's just for me because, you know, it kind of sucks when you have to make them yourself. So, yeah, I want to see that. Next thing I want to see, after completing all the challenges and getting to the first seed, I want them to generate a locker code. Maybe that's the way that you get a Pink Diamond player. Maybe they generate a locker code after you complete all of the challenges and get to the first seed. I'm not saying that you automatically get a Pink Diamond player that way, but, you know, you get something significant and you have a chance at a Pink Diamond. And make those sellable on the market because I don't play MyTEAM, but I had a Pink Diamond Shaquille O'Neal. There's nothing I'm going to be doing with that Pink Diamond Shaquille O'Neal. And there was a point where I wanted to have MT to be able to play with the legends so I knew their signatures. So I wanted some MT. And I couldn't sell my Pink Diamond Shaq, and that kind of sucked. Before I found the glitch, of course. So, yeah, that's one thing. Next thing, have rivalry days in MyTEAM, just like the MyTEAM mobile app. You know how you could pick a specific team and the winner gets some rewards. Be able to do that. Have that associated with like online matchmaking. So have people on one side, whoever chooses one side, all those wins count for that specific team, and then the other side have their wins count for that specific team. So have rivalry days in MyTEAM because they have a lot of things on the MyTEAM mobile app that are much better than the actual MyTEAM game. So they need to get on top of that. Next thing, I want to see bonuses for a MyTEAM themed team. So they have information when you look at the player card. They should be able to match things to one another and make kind of relationships. At least the computer should be able to do that. So if you have a team of players that all went to North Carolina, I feel like you should get some kind of boost. If you have a team that all played for the same franchise at some point, you should get some kind of boost. I don't know. That's what I just feel. But, yeah, they should do that. Next thing. Arenas should have an effect on players. Because different environments, they make you play differently. So, for example, the Pepsi Center in Denver, the altitude is very different. So I feel like if your home court is the Denver Nuggets' home court, it should lower your opponent's stamina by like, I don't know, 3 or 5 points. That'd be really cool if they did that. That's very realistic if they did that. And because that's how it is when you play in Denver, it's because the altitude is much higher and your stamina is going to go down if you're not used to it. So, next thing, have old school arenas played with a different camera filter and have different font but include a basic 3-point line. So if you remember NBA 2K12, the NBA's greatest mode, if you played one of those challenges during like the 70s or like the 60s, the camera filter was completely different, the audio was different. So I feel like if they did this in MyTEAM, that would be so cool if they did that. But the only problem would be that they would have to add like some kind of generic 3-point line, but that's the only thing that they'd have to do. But I think that'd be a really cool idea if they did that. Be able to add those old school arenas. And the next thing is have historic coaches as well. Red Auerbach, have Phil Jackson join the club as well, because they don't have historic coaches in the game. If you start a My League and then you customize the league and you pick like the 95, 96 Bulls, they have some weirdo being the coach instead of Phil Jackson. So the only historic coach that they have is Greg Popovich, because he's an actual coach today. So they need to add historic coaches as well. And remember what I was talking about, how coaches affect the gameplay before? Have those guys affect the gameplay as well, because Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach, Pat Riley, those guys have huge impacts on their teams. So include those guys for the next game. And I think this is where I'm going to cut it off here. I know online associations, they need to have serpentine drafts, and they have a number of improvements they have to make there. But, I haven't played online leagues this year, so I wouldn't really be familiar with all that. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with me this whole time. And I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully you guys feel the same way about these things as me. And if you feel a little differently, let me know. If there's other additions that you want to see, leave them in the comments. But it's important that we get these things in here, so maybe you can voice your opinion to some of these team up guys that will be going to 2K later this summer. So anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.